Tzu Chi volunteers in Southern California check earthquake damage and provide comfort and aid to those affected. A devoted volunteer, Lv Jinyong, is remembered for his kind works and contribution to rebuilding after Typhoon Morakot. I'm Sean Scanlan. This is DaAi Headlines. Independence Day this year in Southern California experienced a number of earthquakes. To see how they can help, Tzu Chi Headquarters in San Dimas formed a disaster survey team to visit the quake zone. In the aftermath of the recent earthquakes in Southern California, a 5-member disaster survey team left San Dimas and headed to the hard-hit quake zone. At the Glendale's Quake Relief Command Center, Tzu Chi met with the Red Cross volunteers. After gaining knowledge of the situation, they headed to the shelters.
Right now, this shelter has registered 321 quake victims. Last night, 86 of them stayed here. They are needing some snacks, so we brought some with us today. 2 cartons of Jingsi crackers.
Some are staying in the shelter, but a lot of them are staying outside the shelter because they're afraid of looting. They're afraid of maybe aftershocks.
Just as they predicted, aftershocks came rolling through the region.
Look, this is July 6th, and from noon on out, there were many aftershocks.
Thankfully, the epicenter this time was located in the desert. And the affected homes are mostly mobile homes, which due to gas line ruptures caught on fire, but otherwise no other catastrophes were reported.
After the disaster survey, we will keep in contact with the Red Cross and its representatives. If need be, we will follow up with them.
Cyclone Idai destroyed parts of Mozambique. Tzu Chi is now commencing mid to long-term rebuilding projects. A group of young volunteers were inspired to build sturdy homes with construction supplies Tzu Chi provided. Let's take a look at how they helped.
Post-Cyclone Idai, this is where they live. Their life made worse by Cyclone Idai. To help, the village's youths, under the motivation of Tzu Chi volunteers, are helping the 2 families build better housing. For the grandmother, they use the materials they could find and build a sturdy wall, wrapped with steel and covered it up with canvas before the night falls. As they bid her farewell for a good night's rest, they don't forget to gift her with some daily necessities and food.
Toothpaste for brushing, the mosquito net to protect yourself, and this is a water purifier.
The grandfather is getting the same treatment, and on this night, he and his grandchildren can finally rest easy.
I pray to God to give you more strength to help others like me.
Our work is done out of love. The more houses we build, the more love fills our community.
Love is the home's most sturdy support beam. In Tika, 64-year-old Ricardo fixes bicycles at the market for a living. He is saving up to build a home. However, after the cyclone hits, he's left squatting in a roofless, abandoned place. After understanding the situation, the volunteers immediately mobilized to build him a home with the Tzu Chi construction pack. Seeing his home come together so quickly, Ricardo is moved.
I don't know what to say, just that I'm grateful for Tzu Chi for making all the good things happen. I never thought I would be able to receive help. I hope these charitable deeds don't stop. You need to continue helping other people.
This home fills his lonely heart, and those youths who helped have also gained a sense of belonging.
The phrase that motivates me is treating them as if a family, because if it were my relatives, I would help them like how Tzu Chi has been helping. Seeing the old man working so hard, I was very grateful I had the opportunity to help him.
Ele estava, então dali eu me comovi também para poder estar lá para poder auxiliar.
In this community, love is felt by helping out one another, and this land is the warmer for it.
Tzu Chi's relief efforts in Mozambique not only involve rebuilding efforts by local volunteers, as international Tzu Chi volunteers from far and wide have descended upon the country. Let's learn more in this special report.
I met a young lady called Zia who took our books to drive. And buy books for her. This is Mozambique. Copo para esta sala. Vem quantos? Quantos copos?
Um copo de feijão.
Um copo de feijão.
Unidade.
Para almoço ou
Para
jantar?
almoço só, não tem jantar, sem almoço só.
Nome da criança?
On the day when Cyclone Idai came, my daughter was born, so we decided to name her Che, which means flood waters.
Estava de grávida.
My wife was very pregnant when Cyclone Idai struck our village. As the floods came, my wife quickly climbed onto the nearest tree to escape from the flash floods, and our child decided to come into the world at that moment. I caught her at the bottom of the tree.
Vai, outra, vem mamãe, vem mamãe.
Muito feliz. Quando não temos materiais.
I am very grateful. Without the supplies, we can only reconstruct the houses with mud. With the supplies, we can rebuild a house that is strong and stable. If heavy rain comes, the old mud houses will collapse once again.
Não temos sala, não se sai isso aqui. Assim, com o ciclone acabaram se estragar.
Our school was destroyed by Cyclone Idai. Without a classroom, we can only hold classes under the tree's shade. When it rains, we cannot hold classes, and we can only share the space with other classes. When it gets too hot, we sit under the tree shade. Without shade, the children can only go home.
Não consegui, dispenso alunos para casa.
Porque sole aquece muito.
As you can see with your own eyes, the situation is very bad. We have nothing. Children are crowded in during class. We really need help. We can't have class when it rains, and the same is true if it's windy.
Vamos fazer assim,
Está feliz e está triste?
Feliz.
What we saw was a very primitive medical condition. Almost no one has ever seen a doctor. They have a lot of illnesses that are very serious, but here is almost no way to do anything.
I feel that we cannot do much by ourselves. I am very grateful to the local volunteers. Before the other charity organizations came, we were the first aid group that came to the disaster area.
The good thing about Tzu Chi is that we are not only using Tzu Chi International, we are not only using Tzu Chi Taiwan, but we want to start a chapter in Mozambique that is going to be Tzu Chi Mozambique.
Eu vou cozinhar para os voluntários. Eu vou ensinar acerca do bambu.
Eu vou ensinar limpeza e cuidar da casa.
Eu vou fazer esteira para vocês terem. Eu vou levar mais a ensinar amor próximo.
Tzu Chi volunteers flocked to Sanling to build permanent houses for Typhoon Morakot survivors 10 years ago. Volunteer Lv Jinyong went every day to offer himself to the construction effort. Sadly, he has passed away, but his kind image will be forever remembered.
I used to have no guts, so I was scared of seeing dead people. But after I joined Tzu Chi, I have to console people dead or alive.
It is now not difficult for volunteer Lin Jingui to help families identify bodies after she had helped out at 2 plane crash incidents. The brother of the pilot who died in the airplane crash in Pengfu 5 years ago is also a Tzu Chi volunteer. Other Tzu Chi volunteers' company helped him to recover.
She told me that we are all Master's disciples, so we should know what to do. And at that moment she said it, I woke up and realized it wasn't time for me to grieve.
Typhoon Morakot brought much sadness and grievances to people of Kaohsiung. To build permanent houses for the survivors, volunteer Lv Jinyong toiled day and night, day in and day out.
He said that he wouldn't let the master worry. He wanted to ease the master's mind, so he would use his life to complete the construction.
Lv Jinyong was affectionately referred to as Uncle Yang by other volunteers. Before he died, his heart remained with Tzu Chi and Master Zhen Yan.
我想人人跟用被爱心拢同款哦，师徒啊，有缘呐、这一份缘呢、不只是今生， 生生世世所结的呢是永生缘。
We must remember that year and that person. His dedication to society is an act of a humanized bodhisattva.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Penghu, Taiwan held the second annual 3-day-long recycling camp. It was joined by 218 people, which was more than last year. The Penghu County Magistrate also came to meet the students and thanked Tzu Chi for its contribution to the environment.
This is the second time that the Tzu Chi Recycling Athletics Camp that is held in Penghu. The students learn about good manners in daily life. Issues on environmental protection are also included.
Every year we often hear that about this year is the hottest. Why is the earth so hot? Because of global warming. 1 point for you.
It is also important for the students to learn about sorting the recyclables.
Do you hear it? What did it sound like? There's sound. It sounds soft.
The students learn about theories and also like to make their scientific toys.
The net can trap the water because of its surface tension, so the water is up there, but when we shake it, we destroy the tension and the water will flow down.
These children are very passionate about everything and are curious about these events, so their spirit attracts me.
118 students attend this 3-day course, so there are also close to 300 volunteers working as staff. These speakers for the event are professors. The county magistrate appreciates Tzu Chi's volunteers' attention in organizing this event.
18 professors came to teach the children correct knowledge. There are also lessons on daily manners, so I believe they can help these students.
These courses are various in nature, but they bring knowledge to the students who also have fun in these courses.
The Syrian civil war caused 4 million people to be displaced. Some have fled south to Jordan. One Taiwanese woman, Lai Huashu, married a Syrian and had to relocate to Jordan with her son. Her husband has been left trapped in Syria. She has now joined the ranks of Tzu Chi and pledges to help others in a similar predicament.
The Prophet Muhammad said that he saw Damascus from afar and asked his disciples to go to Damascus. One said he didn't want to go, and he said that Syria is a paradise on earth. If he entered this paradise, he might be satisfied. If he didn't enter heaven, as it is such a beautiful country.
Because of praise from the Prophet Muhammad, the Syrian capital Damascus has been called the Heavenly City.
I've been there and I still want to go there. You can see a lot of places of interest that are World Heritage Sites. There are windows everywhere and streets are neat as it is.
On this world map, the 2 river basins where Syria is located is the Mesopotamian plain, which is one of the cradles of human civilization. It has a history of more than 8,000 years.
As far as Syria is concerned, it is a lot of historical ancient sites, Damascus, Aleppo, Homs. They are very famous in history, especially in Ottoman Empire. Damascus is actually the capital of Sham, which means it is relatively developed. It also has some oil, so it means that it is economically quite good.
Once one of the richest countries in the Middle East, however, the war broke out in 2011 led Syria's economy to plunge as much as 70%, making it the poorest economy in the Middle East in 2017, with per capita GDP in last place. What is especially sad is that the war has caused the largest wave of refugees since the Second World War, with as many as 4 million displaced Syrians. Surprisingly, there's also one Taiwanese compatriot who has been affected.
Around 2015 and 2016, most of our overseas compatriots still left Syria. After they left, they went through Lebanon or Jordan and then to other places. There is also a Lai Huashu who used to live in Damascus.
I am a nomad living in a foreign land, so how should I feel? In addition to saying that I have grief and regret, how should I feel?
The civil war caused her to take her son to Jordan, and she was forced to live apart from her husband. Taiwanese girl in this photo is so pure and beautiful. She never thought that she would marry and live in the Middle East. Until the age of 26, she studied Arabic because of her work, and 5 years later, she married her own Syrian boss. It was a dramatic change in her life. Seriously learning Arabic and integrating into local culture, one journalist has witnessed Lai Huashu's life in Syria.
Her situation at the time was very good. She had her own car and a driver. Of course, because their people are very low-key. They don't deliberately show off their wealth or what, but in my opinion, their living conditions were quite rich.
I miss the olive groves in my hometown is written on this postcard, which is just one of her memories about Syria. She never imagined that in 2012, after returning to Taiwan to visit her family, so she could never return to Syria.
I just want to go back to Syria. My husband called me and said, don't come back, because at that time, the Syrian civil war had become serious, especially dangerous for Asians as some bad things have happened, such as kidnapping.
Because her husband is there, they have factories, and of course, he hoped to continue to take care of these employees. Of course, it is also there to protect his investment, as he doesn't want these assets to be plundered or destroyed in war. So everyone had a wait-and-see attitude in the early days. He didn't expect this war as it spun out of control.
Lai Huashu had to take her son to continue his studies in Taiwan. In order to prevent her parents from worrying too much and to be closer to her husband, she settled in Jordan in 2014.
He came to see us regularly, almost every 2 or 3 months. But when I first came over last year, I was blocked at the border, as the government believes that the family owes taxes. So he is restricted from leaving the country.
Nowadays, the family can only exchange love and affection through an unstable internet connection.
When you will come?
Anyhow, take care yourself. I don't know until I pay.
爸爸打电话来了。要不要跟爸爸说话？1年半了，然后儿子也。
A year and a half ago, my son really wants to go see his father, but he doesn't want us to go. He said it's still too unsafe for us in Syria.
现在叙利亚境内还不是很安定。
More difficulties followed, but this did not change the determination of Lai Huashu to help Syrian refugees. Lai Huashu has been in contact with Tzu Chi since 2012. In 2013, she participated in a documenting volunteer training camp in Taiwan. In 2014, she settled in Jordan and began to study distributions. In 2018, she officially became staff for the Tzu Chi Jordan chapter. Her language and cultural understandings allow her to actively participate in the work of assisting Syrian refugees.
我在接触慈济之后。
After I came into contact with Tzu Chi, I saw so many refugees which suffered so much. I shouldn't complain about my problems and instead help those worse off than me. I simply hope Syria can return to its former glory in my lifetime.
Tzu Chi El Monte Liaison Office held a pilgrimage to celebrate its 5-year anniversary. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.